And we will now move on to district communications, with the first item on our district communications being our CAPS group. So once a month, we try to bring in a group or some accomplishment or something across the district that we want to kind of showcase of all the wins and the positive things that we have going on in the district. So for June, I know school's out now, so some associates are probably traveling, but we've invited Ethan Weekman and a cohort of associates and instructors to give us just an overview of how the CAPS program went this past year.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for inviting us to come share how this year went. I also want to thank the production team here at the city, because when you stand outside, I felt like I was waiting for the Space Mountain at Disney, with the waiting in line to be the next one on the theme ride. So it got me excited about some memories when I was a younger kid. Again, my name's Ethan Weekman. I am the Cedar Falls CAPS director, and I'm excited to help share with you some of the great things that have happened this year, but more importantly, to have our associates and Megan Drosty, one of our instructors, to share the boots on the ground look of the things of CAPS and how it's impacted them for the school year. So before we get started on that, am I too close to this? Okay. Before we get started that, we wanted to share some photos from this year of our associates in past years engaging in their CAPS experience. And hopefully when you look at that, there's a couple things that stand out to you. And one of those being just the engagement in the learning. As you look at the different associates that are doing a variety of things. And then the second thing is within our community. And those are two important components for our CAPS program and the success of it. But also that there are challenges that come with that. And so we want to thank the school board for their continued support of the CAPS program, because some of those things that we're doing don't come without some type of angst or support. So if you think about some of our associates, and you can see some pictures there that are doing some work on houses that are outside of our school, and some are in hospitals. And so there are HIPAA things that we have to go through to make sure that our partners in our health facilities allow our students to be involved with that. And then just general, our business partners and community people that provide great projects that really help our students develop the skills at the level that they are needed. So wanted to start off with those and just share all the great things that are happening within the CAPS program. As we go through, I'm going to have our associates that are representation that are here. Some of them here for our specific CAPS experiences, and you can see up there are 6 of them: Education, Business Solutions, Careers, CAPS Med, CAPS CNA, and CAPS Industries, which is our construction and trades program. So get us started off, we'll have our CAPS Education associates come up and share their experiences.
Hello everyone, my name is Owen Brinker, and like Ethan said, I'm a part of CAPS Education. Cool thing about CAPS Education that is not a similar thing across all CAPS is that we actually got to do 2 semesters of it. We had a choice to do both CAPS 1 and CAPS 2, which was the equivalent of our Level 1 and Level 2 this year. A very cool project that we were able to work on was the first ever design sprint. So a design sprint is something that we had about 48 hours to do. We were presented a problem, and then we had 48 hours to solve that problem and then go back to those clients and solve that with them, and then see which problem they want, or excuse me, which solution they wanted us to solve. So we worked with the Cedar Falls Public Library this year as a CAPS EDU team. So we were working on their social media and how they could have a little bit of a better social media presence. And you might be asking, why as an educator would I be working with social media and with the library? But through that, we were able to learn just how to communicate with different people, as well as meet deadlines with them, and then how to solve these problems that could come up when we had different ideas in mind. So that's something that we will use in education, whether that be working with fellow coworkers, administration, parents. Those problems are going to come up every single day, so we learned how to do that at a pretty early start, I think, because I think a lot of high school kids, when you're thinking about education, you don't usually get to work with adults in the community and work with them like that. But I think the most important part about CAPS Education isn't necessarily being involved in that community, but getting out in the actual school communities with our placements. So throughout the year, I had 4 different placements, whether that be Southdale Elementary in a kindergarten room, I was in a behavior classroom at Dr. Walter Cunningham Elementary and at the east side of Waterloo. I was at Pete Junior High in a Strat 1 special education room, as well as River Hills in a Strat 2 high-need high school special education room. So I got to see the whole plethora of education from the super high needs to the higher number of students in there as well. And through that, I was able to work one-on-one with some of these students. I was able to teach large group lessons to 20 different 5-year-olds, and it was a very cool experience. So through this, I learned that CAPS is a lot more than just a class that you would take in high school where you get to have fun. I learned that it's going to be something that I will use for my entire life as a future educator, where I get to put the smiles on all the future students that I get to have. Thank you.
So my name is Emma Batterson. I also participated in CAPS 1 and CAPS Education 2 this last year, and I was a part of the Parrot Project. So Owen, like he said, he was in the library group. I was in the Parrot group. So first semester, the afternoon CAPS 1 strand of education did it, but I was in the morning, so I only did the part 2 of it. But it really opened my eyes to see working with the district and learning how they work to get more paras and learning how valuable they were was a really valuable experience for me personally, because I want to teach special ed preschool. So knowing that I'm going to need to work with paras myself, that was a really eye-opening experience for me. So my placements were at Southdale in a special ed preschool room. I was also at Lowell Elementary in preschool, which was like an inclusive setting, and I was at Lincoln in like K-6 special ed, and I was also in a kinder prep at Orchard Hill. So I got to see all the things, and I had so much fun. But before CAPS, I helped start Ethical Discover in all the preschool classrooms, so through robotics. And so I knew that I wanted to do education before I was in CAPS, but I didn't know for sure if I wanted to do special ed preschool. And after CAPS, I'm not scared of it. I want to do special ed preschool. And now I am actually a lead 5-year-old teacher at a daycare this summer, and there's a little bit from every single one of my placements in my classroom. So that's my experience in CAPS. Thank you.
I also want to share a little bit about our business solutions, just a couple projects that came up this year that are interesting and unique. We had our first project from New York City, so it was a remote project. How we got that, and again, it came across our project board, and I had to do a double take on how did we get to New York City. And it turns out one of our current associates this year, his name is Ruby Schillinger. Her older brother Sam is out there and had interactions with this gal that sent the project in, and she was looking to interact with some high schoolers, and he mentioned that there's this CAPS program in Cedar Falls that is doing some cool things. You should reach out to them. So it was an awesome project, and they got to work through remotely, which is add some challenges and some skill sets there, and working on different looks for school lunches, and they found that very valuable experience, and she gave us a good feedback on how that went and enjoyed the experience, and hopefully we'll get some more projects out of New York City. And then one that may be a little closer to home, or is a lot closer to home, if you go to the high school and you see the touch screens that are around the high school there, one of the projects that Mr. Becker wanted to make sure we had nailed down before he retired was to get the music department archived of all of the great things that they're doing. We know we have an awesome music department both in our chorus and in our band and orchestra, and multiple all-staters, which getting one is an achievement. The number that we get every year is tremendous. And so you wanted to get that archived, which took a lot of work. So one of the projects was for our associates to gather all that information and then put it in a way, organize it in a way into those touch screens so people come back, and I think it goes far back as 1970s, so they can go check and see who got all state as far as individuals, but also as groups. Cool thing about that, if you were at the Innovation Celebration, there was going around, and I actually walked up to one of the associates and said, how's it going, that was on this specific project. And she mentioned, she goes, oh, you just missed the coolest thing. I said, well, what happened? She goes, we were explaining our project and how we archive this, and this little girl asked her mom and said, hey, Mom, are you in here? And she goes, well, I think I might be. And she was able to look it up and point it out, and she said her little daughter was really proud of the fact that her mom could be in that archive. So really cool to see that in action and the impact of it already. And then I'm going to pass it over to Paige, who's going to talk about careers.
Hi, my name is Paige Russell, and I've been a part of both the CAPS Careers and Med program, but I'll first touch on careers. So the way I like to describe careers is, since it's not exactly as obvious compared to like education or med, is kind of for students that are interested in a field that isn't already listed in one of these 6 strands or that don't really know what they want to do. So when I first got into the CAPS program, I had a general idea of what I wanted to do, but obviously I was very overwhelmed and uncertain about like stepping into adulthood and handling professionalism outside of high school. So when I first started in the CAPS careers strand, I kind of wanted to get an idea of stepping outside of the confined curriculum that we have at Cedar Falls, where we're guided by a bell, and that way we can get out in a different host site. So one of my most meaningful projects that I took part of in CAPS Careers was along with 2 other associates. And for some background knowledge, we all, since we're in careers, we kind of all had a different area of interest as far as what field we wanted to go into. So we worked with, we all had an actual client at Unity Point's Cardiac and Pulmonary Rehabilitation Center. So we created a brochure for graduating patients that were were finishing with their program and their pathway through either like a chronic illness or if they had a heart or lung surgery. And then they were getting done with that and needed to continue exercising. So we found local and affordable options to provide for them. And I've obviously learned a lot from doing that, whether it was teamwork because all of us kind of had a different background of what we wanted to do, but then also communication skills were huge because we were communicating mostly via email, but then in person we wanted to make sure that we made the most of the time that we had with her, and we're still following things like HIPAA and being clear of what she was looking for, especially because most of these patients were older, so we had to find ways to make it clear and readable with an easy font to read, but then also beneficial because our client did tell us that a lot of them don't want to just sit down and look through something. They want something that will catch their eye. So all in all, I found that keeping an open mind through that was the most beneficial, and which has led me to wanting to go on to CAPS Med. So from that, it was, for me, most important because I was able to take the durable skills and the skills that I learned from CAPS Careers and actually apply that in CAPS Med. So one of my most favorite things that I took part of in CAPS Med was what we call Immersion Week, and that's where we have 1 week where all of the associates were given a placement in different areas of interest. So for me, I was interested in occupational therapy, and I wasn't sure if I was interested in a specific. At first I was interested in pediatrics, but then I kind of was unsure of maybe I do like to be in special needs or older. So I was able to get a week-long experience where it was basically like job shadows, but some of them where you were actually able to interact a little bit more than just a regular job shadow. And for me, that was super beneficial because I learned that maybe I'm not super, I don't love being with an older crowd. Not that I don't know how to work with it, but I really found that I was able to connect well with a younger crowd in pediatrics because I was given chances to interact with them and help out. And for me, that was what tied me into wanting to work along with some other healthcare professionals that are part of the interviewing processes in occupational therapy schools. So they have showed me a lot of things about resume building and how to present myself professionally, and as well as interview prep and practices. And obviously without the CAPS program, I wouldn't have been able to get a leg up on all of that. So yeah, I'm very thankful for the CAPS program.
Okay, I get the last 2 here. The CNA program, an update there. We just got done with our last cohort this spring, had 17 associates for the first time. We've had a fairly high pass rate for both of the tests that they have to take. This year, we had every associate pass the test first time through, both tests, which was tremendous, and that's not an easy feat to do. We want to give a huge shout out to Western Home Communities for the continued partnership where our associates get to train in their facilities and then also work with their residents there as they go into their clinicals each year. So next year, we're excited that we have enough interest that we're running two. We're going to have a fall CNA program and a spring. So the demand for it and the need is there. So that's an exciting partnership that continues to grow. Our CAPS Industries, which is our construction and trade program, a couple highlights there. They worked on 2 houses in the Waterloo area this year and then also did a remodel of their host site. So I sent that out on social media. It looks, it's always nice to be able to give back to our partners, and we had an opportunity to do that. And so now they have a beautiful meeting room that they share with at Plum Tech. So a lot of learning that goes on there, and if you get to talk to the people that are involved in that, they love what they do. So Dave Grunt's doing a great job with our industries. Those are our 6 strands. We wanted to give a little bit of a historical background. Megan's right here, and she's going to go and do that. And talk a little bit about just a reminder of where we were at the beginning and where we're at today.
Awesome. Well, I'll take you down a trip on memory lane a little bit. All the way back to 2017. It was the spring. We had 13 associates. Ethan, along with our business developer at the same time, Nate Clayberg, they developed kind of the foundation of what you've seen today. So we started with 1 program. In the fall, I came on to create the education and training program. We added industries, then later we added CNA. So you're seeing kind of the evolution of CAPS, and it all started back in 2017. Good news travels fast, and the surrounding communities were wanting to get a part, or take a part of CAPS as well. And so we've been partnering with surrounding school districts to create our Cedar Valley CAPS Consortium, where we provide training and support for those Cedar Valley programs on the screen there. Our newest one coming up is going to be Sumner Fredericksburg this next school year. So really excited about that. Not only good news travels on the eastern side of Iowa, but also on the western side. So a couple of years ago, we've expanded over on the western side of Iowa. So a CAPS program hopefully is near any student that can take advantage of all these great opportunities. And we're really excited to see where it keeps going. So Ethan's going to share a little bit about some of the milestones from this year in our own neck of the woods in Cedar Falls.
You know, Dr. Patty told me to make sure it's short, so we're going to go through this quickly. Just some big milestones this year. Roughly, we looking at the numbers, we served roughly 70% of our senior class to go through CAPS, which when you think about a work-based learning program, that's a tremendous number. And it takes a lot to make sure to do that of supports from the district and from the school board at that high level. We did an action research with the America Succeeds on Durable Skills. The kind of the holy grail of durable skills is how do we confidently measure what good communication is and problem solving is and critical thinking, and is it even possible to do that? And right now we're in the process of a research project and utilizing different tools and resources to see if we can convincingly come up with some type of measurement. Some AI work that's been done there. We used a lot of AI interviewers and assessments and things. And so the results after this year, we've got rough data. What we do know is America Succeeds is tremendously excited about it, and also it's in partnership with Northeastern and Boston, enough that they're going to do it again. So next year we're going to go to phase 2 of that project and continue to develop hopefully some type of measurement that will allow us to measure the growth of our associates in all of the durable skills. We started a CAPS Med Advisory Board this year that was pivotal for the Immersion Week. Paige was just talking about making sure we can get all of our associates in. That's a heavy lift by our partners in the medical industry and the community to take on associates for a whole week. As many as we had roughly 90 of them in the program this year. So when you think about those placements in 2 semesters, that's a lot. And so we wouldn't have been able to do that with advisory board and people that are committed to making that happen. So that was a big addition. Another thing coming up next year is thinking about what does CAPS look like at the junior high level. And we're going to be starting a 7th grade exploring CAPS. So one section at Pete and one section at Holmes for both semesters. So Andy Beeland, I believe he's here. There he is. And he's going to be instructing that and leading the charge in that. So we're excited about that expansion in the programming. And lastly, the largest innovation celebrations we've ever had. So if you were able to make it, those of you that were there, thank you for doing that. Those who can't, completely understood. But as far as just traffic and flow, it was by far our largest, and a lot of that had to do with our sixth grade. So I'm going to be honest about that. If you get to see the sixth grade teams and the juxtaposition next to the high schoolers and just seeing the tremendous work that our sixth grade teachers are doing with their students, it's a really fun night, and it's a great night for celebration. I'm not going to show this again just because of time's sakes, but if you're interested, we had an organization, a marketing group out of Kansas City that came up for Experience.work, which is a new nonprofit organization highlighting our Crichton project. And if you know anything about that, Kabir Bhatia was part of our program. He took on a project when he was in high school, and he's now one of the lead engineers at Crichton. And he worked through them based on that project. So it's just an example of what work-based learning or profession-based learning, the type of impact it can have. So if you'd like that, I think Janelle or I can share that with you. We can get that done. With that, I did hand out a flyer to you. The fuel to our program is projects. So if you're interested in engaging, I know all of you are involved in the community or with businesses or organizations. We would love to get projects. So anybody that's out there on the YouTube channel that's listening in, projects are the fuel, and you can always submit one at cfcaps.org. Other than that, thank you very much for the time, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, let's give everyone a round of applause. Yeah, thank you to the associates for covering your experience well, and wish you the best in your careers and to taking everything you learned with you. And thanks to Ethan and Megan for making time tonight to come and share with us.